Picture this, a stadium filled with flashing lights, cameras snapping from every angle, and the roar of fans echoing in the background. Deion Sanders, the legendary coach and larger-than-life figure, stands at the center of it, all confident, untouchable, and commanding. But just when it seemed like nothing could shake his empire, an emotional bombshell exploded that no one saw coming. Travis Hunter's wife, Lyanna, suddenly broke down in front of reporters. Tears streaming, her voice trembling with words that sent shockwaves through the sports world. The media frenzy was instant, fans were stunned, and whispers of betrayal, family drama, and secrets long buried began swirling like wildfire. What could drive Lyanna to crumble so publicly? And why does every finger now seem to point at Deion Sanders? Rumors are flying, emotions are boiling over, and the story is unraveling in ways more dramatic than any reality TV show. Stay tuned, because what started as a football fairy tale is quickly spiraling into a saga of tears, tension, and a family feud that could tear everything apart. This isn't just sports, it's scandal, heartbreak, and confrontation on the grandest stage. And trust me, you won't believe the twists that are coming next. The story begins in the middle of what should have been a night of celebration. Deion Sanders had just walked off the field, his team victorious, the crowd chanting his name as if he were untouchable. But behind the bright stadium lights and the cameras waiting for post-game interviews, there was a storm building. And the first thunderclap came not from the field, but from the press room, where Travis Hunter's young wife Lyanna sat trembling, her eyes swollen with tears. Her hands clutching at her dress like she was trying to hold herself together. Reporters leaned in, unsure if what they were about to witness was a nervous breakdown or the unraveling of a scandal that could change everything. Lyanna's voice cracked as she said, almost to herself, "I can't keep this in anymore. It's tearing us apart." Those few words set the room on fire. Microphones pushed closer, cameras zoomed in, and whispers raced through the crowd like wildfire. At first, nobody understood what she meant. Was she talking about her marriage to Travis? Or was this about something deeper, something darker, involving the man everyone calls Coach Prime? As the silence stretched, Lyanna broke down completely, covering her face as sobs shook her shoulders. In that moment, the glamorous world of football glory twisted into the kind of family drama you only see on reality shows. Fans outside the press room had no idea what was happening inside, but social media was quick to light up. One reporter tweeted, "Breaking, Travis Hunter's wife Lyanna breaks down during media session. Mentions being torn apart. Deion Sanders involved?" And within minutes, hashtags like #PrimeDrama and #LYNNASTRU were trending. Travis rushed to her side, wrapping his arm around her as cameras continued to flash. "Baby, please, not like this," he whispered, but his microphone caught every word. The audience watching at home could feel the tension, the weight of secrets pressing down on them. Deion himself hadn't arrived yet, but already, the narrative was spinning out of control. Lyanna looked up at her husband. Her mascara smudged and muttered, "You know, I tried to handle it quietly. I begged for this to stay private." But he wouldn't stop. She didn't say who he was, but everyone in the room knew who she was hinting at. The air went cold. Reporters exchanged shocked glances. Travis looked pale, caught between his loyalty to his wife and his admiration for the man who had shaped his career. A voice from the back shouted, "Is this about Coach Sanders?" And that's when Lyanna froze. She didn't deny it. She didn't say yes either. She just closed her eyes as more tears spilled out, and that silence said more than words ever could. When Deion finally entered the building, the room erupted. Reporters bombarded him with questions, shouting over each other. "Coach, are you aware of the situation with Lyanna? What do you have to say about her accusations? Is there truth to the rumors?" Deion raised his hands, commanding silence the way only he could. His presence was magnetic, but there was a flicker in his eyes, a rare crack in the armor of confidence he always carried. "I don't know what's being said," he began calmly, "but whatever it is, it ain't the truth. I love these kids, I love their families, and I would never do anything to break that trust." His voice was steady, but the whispers wouldn't stop. Lyanna turned her face away from him, unable to look, and that single act made the audience gasp. Travis stood frozen, his arms still around his wife, but his eyes locked on Deion. "Coach," he said quietly, "we need to talk. Not here, not like this." His words trembled with emotion. And for the first time, the fans saw the perfect bond between player and coach start to fracture. Outside the press room, fans were already taking sides. Some defended Deion fiercely, calling it a smear campaign against a man who had done nothing but inspire. Others believed Lyanna, pointing to her visible distress as proof that something serious had been going on behind closed doors. "Women don't break down like that unless there's a reason," one fan posted online, and the comment section exploded with debates. Meanwhile, inside the Hunter household later that night, the tension reached its peak. Travis paced the living room, his voice rising as he confronted his wife. "Lyanna, do you realize what you just did? This isn't just about us anymore. This is about the team, about my career. Coach Prime has given me everything, and now the world thinks he's the villain in our marriage." Lyanna, still trembling, shot back, "And what about me, Travis? What about the nights I stayed silent while rumors swirled? What about the pressure of being told to smile and stand by you while I carried this weight alone? I couldn't do it anymore. I had to let it out." Her voice cracked again. Filled with desperation, Travis sank onto the couch, burying his face in his hands. "You should have told me first. Not the cameras. Not the reporters, me." His words cut through the room like a blade, but Lyanna wasn't backing down. "I did tell you, Travis. You just didn't want to hear it. You kept saying Coach was family, that he could do no wrong. But families aren't supposed to break each other. Families aren't supposed to hide secrets that destroy marriages." The silence that followed was heavy, suffocating. Outside their home, paparazzi gathered, waiting for a glimpse of the couple, hoping for another emotional outburst. The Hunters' neighbors whispered among themselves, wondering how deep the rift went and how Deion Sanders would handle the accusations that seemed to stick to him no matter how much he denied them. And as the night stretched on, the drama only deepened. Lyanna's phone buzzed nonstop with messages from friends and strangers alike. Some offered support, praising her for her bravery. Others hurled insults, accusing her of trying to tear down a legend for attention. One message in particular shook her. It was from an anonymous sender who wrote, "You don't know what you've started. This is bigger than you think." She stared at the words on her screen, her hands trembling once more. What did that mean? Bigger than what? Travis noticed her fear and leaned over. "Who's messaging you?" he demanded. But before she could answer, the doorbell rang. Both of them froze, the sound echoing through the tense silence of their home. Travis stood, his jaw tight, and walked slowly toward the door. Outside, the cameras clicked, the fans shouted, but whoever stood at the door wasn't part of the crowd. It was someone unexpected, someone who would take this already spiraling drama to another level. And just as Travis reached for the handle, Lyanna whispered, almost to herself, "Oh no." Not them. The door opened, and everything they thought they knew about this scandal was about to change. The door creaked open slowly, the sound almost drowned out by the chaos of flashing cameras outside. Travis stood in the doorway, his tall frame blocking the view for a moment, but then the figure emerged, stepping into the dimly lit living room. It wasn't a reporter. It wasn't a curious neighbor. It was none other than Deion Sanders himself. The silence that followed was deafening. Lyanna's face went pale, her breath catching in her throat. She whispered again, "No. Not him." Travis clenched his fist, torn between slamming the door in his coach's face and letting him explain. "Coach, what are you doing here?" His voice was sharp, laced with the hurt of betrayal and the loyalty that still tugged at him. Deion didn't flinch. He stepped inside calmly, his presence commanding as always, but this time the energy was different. The glow of confidence was replaced with something heavier, something almost pleading. "Travis, Lyanna," he began, his voice steady but softer than usual. "We need to talk before this gets out of hand." Lyanna shook her head furiously, tears spilling again. "Out of hand? It's already out of hand. The world saw me break down because of this, because of you. Do you have any idea what you've done to us?" Her voice rose, trembling, and her words cut deep. Deion raised his hands, trying to keep the peace. "Listen to me. You're twisting this into something it's not. I've only ever wanted the best for you both. For this family." "Family?" Lyanna snapped, her voice breaking. "Don't you dare use that word. Families don't manipulate each other, they don't." She stopped herself, her chest heaving as if she had revealed too much already. Travis turned toward her, confusion written all over his face. Manipulate? What's she talking about, coach? What exactly did you do? The tension was suffocating. Dean's eyes flicked from Travis to Lyanna, then back again. There are things being twisted here, he said slowly. Things people don't understand. And if you let this blow up, it'll destroy not just you, Travis, but everything we've been building. Everything. Travis's voice cracked. So it's about the team. About the image? What about my wife, coach? What about what she's going through? Lyanna stood abruptly, her voice fierce now. This isn't about football anymore, Travis. This is about trust. About the way he's been playing games with us, with me. I kept it quiet for months because I didn't want to ruin your career, but now everyone knows. And he's still trying to spin it. Deion stepped forward, his voice tightening. You don't know the whole story, Lyanna. You're seeing shadows where there aren't any. I've done nothing but protect you. Both of you, Lyanna laughed bitterly through her tears. Protect me? You call late-night phone calls protecting me? You call keeping secrets from Travis protecting me? Don't you dare try to paint yourself as a savior. Travis's jaw dropped. Late-night calls? What calls? His eyes darted between them. Disbelief etched into his features. Travis. Listen, Deion began, but Travis cut him off. No, don't listen me. Tell me right now. What calls? What the hell is going on between you two? The room shook with the weight of the question. Lyanna turned away, unable to look at her husband. Deion closed his eyes, taking a deep breath. It's not what you think, Deion said finally, his tone measured. I called her because I was worried. I saw the pressure she was under, the way the spotlight was eating at her. I wanted to make sure she was okay because I care about this family. Nothing more. Don't you dare sugarcoat it, Lyanna snapped. You crossed lines, Deion. You knew I felt uncomfortable and you kept pushing. You said things that no mentor, no coach should ever say to his player's wife. Travis's heart sank. His hands trembled as he whispered, What did he say, Lyanna? Her lips quivered. Things that made me question if he really cared about our family, or if he just cared about control. He made me feel like a pawn, Travis. Like I was just another piece in his empire. The silence after her words was suffocating. Outside, the reporters sensed something was happening. Their voices growing louder, chanting for answers. Deion looked at Travis with desperation. You've known me for years, son. You know my heart. Don't let these words destroy everything we've built. She's hurting, she's emotional, and this has gotten twisted. But Travis wasn't convinced. His voice broke as he said, I don't know what to believe anymore. Lyanna placed a trembling hand on his arm. Believe me, Travis, I wouldn't risk everything if it wasn't true. I wouldn't stand in front of the world and break like that if I wasn't drowning in it. Travis pulled away, torn apart by the two people he trusted most. Then, suddenly, a knock rattled the door again. Everyone froze. Deion turned, his expression hardening. While Lyanna's eyes widened with fresh fear, Travis hesitated before opening the door once more. This time, it wasn't a coach or a neighbor. It was a group of reporters who had broken past the gate, their cameras already rolling. Microphones were shoved in his face. Travis, is it true that Deion Sanders has been contacting your wife privately? Lyanna, are you accusing Coach Sanders of inappropriate behavior? Coach, do you have a response to the allegations being made against you? The room erupted in chaos. Flashes blinded them, voices overlapped, and the fragile walls of privacy crumbled completely. Lyanna's sobs filled the air. Travis's anger boiled over, and Deion stood firm, denying everything but unable to silence the storm. No comment, Deion barked, trying to push past the reporters. But the questions kept coming. Lyanna collapsed into a chair, her face buried in her hands. Travis shouted at the reporters to get out, his voice cracking with desperation. But even as the door slammed behind them, the damage was done. Within minutes, the footage was everywhere online, on TV, in the headlines. Scandal rocks Sanders' empire blared across the screens, while clips of Lyanna's breakdown and Deion's defensive stance were played endlessly. Fans were divided more than ever. Some called Lyanna brave, praising her for speaking out. Others accused her of lying, of trying to sabotage her husband's career. Memes flooded social media, gossip pages speculated endlessly, and the entire sports world was consumed by the scandal. Back inside the house, Travis stared at his wife and his coach, his heart breaking. "This is spiraling out of control," he whispered. "If we don't get to the bottom of this, none of us are walking away intact." Deion's eyes darkened, his voice low. "Then maybe it's time to tell the truth." "All of it." Lyanna gasped, her face draining of color. "You wouldn't dare," and with that chilling exchange, the stage was set for the next twist, because if Deion really had secrets to reveal, the storm had only just begun. The room felt colder after Deion's words, like the very air had shifted. "Then maybe it's time to tell the truth." All of it, the way he said it was steady, almost calm, but the undertone was sharp enough to cut through the tension like a blade. Lyanna's body stiffened, her eyes wide as she whispered, "You wouldn't dare." But Deion only stared back at her, the silence saying more than words ever could. Travis's chest tightened as he looked between them. "Truth? What truth? What the hell are you both hiding from me?" His voice cracked, raw with confusion and betrayal. Deion took a deep breath, then sat down like he was preparing for battle. "Travis, I've kept things from you because I didn't want to ruin your focus, your career. But since your wife has gone public with her version, maybe it's time I give you mine." Lyanna shot to her feet, her voice trembling but fierce. "Don't twist this, Deion. Don't you dare spin it to make yourself look like the hero again." "Spin it?" Deion countered, raising an eyebrow. "Lyanna, I've done nothing but protect this family. If you want to talk about betrayal, let's really talk." Travis's hand shook. "Somebody explain to me right now, because I'm losing my mind." Lyanna turned to her husband, her eyes pleading. "Travis, you know, I love you. Everything I've done was to protect us." But she pointed at Deion, her finger trembling, he tried to control. Her finger trembling, he tried to control. "Me to control us. The late night calls, the way he made promises, the things he implied about your future if I didn't play along. It was all manipulation." Travis's mouth went dry. "Play along? Promises? What are you talking about?" Deion leaned forward, his voice low but powerful. "Travis, she's leaving out the part where she came to me first. She said she was overwhelmed, that she didn't know how to handle the spotlight, that she needed guidance. I offered advice, I offered help. But now she wants to paint me as some villain. That's a lie." Lyanna screamed, tears rolling down her face. "You twisted my words, you made me feel trapped. You told me that if I wanted Travis to succeed, I had to trust you completely even when it crossed boundaries." Travis staggered back a step, his head spinning. "Crossed boundaries? What kind of boundaries?" The silence was crushing. Lyanna bit her lip, hesitant to speak, while Deion stared her down, daring her to say it. "Finally," she whispered, "he told me things about you, Travis. Things he said I shouldn't repeat. He made me feel like if I didn't listen, if I didn't let him advise me, then your future in football would suffer." Travis's heart dropped. He turned to Deion, his eyes blazing. "You threatened her? You used me against her?" Deion's expression hardened. "I never threatened her. I told her the truth. I told her that the pressures of fame could break her, could break your marriage if she wasn't ready. Maybe I pushed too hard, maybe I crossed a line with how I said it. But never threatened." Lyanna shook her head violently. "You made it sound like I had no choice. Like if I didn't follow your lead, Travis would lose everything. You made me feel like a puppet." Travis rubbed his temples, his voice breaking. "I can't believe this. I trusted both of you. I thought we were a team, a family. Now I don't even know who's telling the truth." Outside, the noise grew louder. Reporters were still camped out and fans had gathered with signs, some defending Deion, others supporting Lyanna. The world was watching, waiting for the next move. Suddenly, Travis's phone buzzed on the table. He picked it up, his face draining of color as he read the message. It was from an unknown number. "You don't know half of it. If you want the real truth, meet me tomorrow, alone." He looked up, holding the phone in the air. "What the hell is this? Who's playing games with us now?" Lyanna gasped. "That's the same message I got earlier. The one that said this is bigger than we think." Deion's face darkened, his jaw tight. "Don't listen to that garbage. It's someone trying to stir the pot. They want to tear us apart, but Travis wasn't convinced. Or maybe it's someone who knows what's really going on. Maybe there's more you're not telling me, coach." The tension was unbearable. Lyanna clutched her husband's arm. "Travis, don't go. Whoever that is, it's dangerous. They're feeding off this chaos," Travis whispered. "They're the only one telling the truth." He stormed toward the door, grabbing his keys. Lyanna chased after him, tears streaming. "Please, don't do this." "Not now." Deion stood, his voice booming. "Travis, don't let them play you. I'm the only one who's had your back from day one." Travis turned at the doorway, his eyes burning with betrayal. "Then prove it, coach. Because right now, I don't know if you're my mentor or the reason my life is falling apart." He slammed the door behind him, the echo rattling through the house. Lyanna collapsed onto the couch, sobbing uncontrollably. Deion stood still, his face unreadable, but his eyes glimmered with something darker: fear. Or maybe anger. "You've ruined everything," Lyanna muttered through her tears. "Why couldn't you just leave us alone?" Deion finally spoke, his voice low and chilling. "You think this is ruined? This is just the beginning. Once the real truth comes out, you'll wish you kept your mouth shut." Lyanna froze, her sobs silenced by the weight of his words. Outside, the fans chanted louder, the media frenzy escalated, and Travis drove into the night toward a meeting that could either uncover the truth or drag them all deeper into the storm. The night air was heavy as Travis pulled into an empty parking lot on the outskirts of town. His headlights cut across cracked pavement and a flickering street lamp that buzzed like it was about to burn out. He gripped the steering wheel tightly, his mind racing with everything that had happened in the past 24 hours. His wife's public breakdown, Deion's denials, the anonymous texts, none of it made sense. And now here he was, waiting for a stranger who promised him the real truth. The sound of footsteps echoed across the lot. Travis tensed, his heart pounding as a hooded figure emerged from the shadows. The stranger stopped just outside the glow of the headlights. "You came," the voice said, low and steady. "Who are you?" Travis demanded, stepping out of the car. The hooded figure slowly lowered the hood, revealing a face that made Travis's stomach drop. It was a former assistant coach who had abruptly left Deion's staff months ago under mysterious circumstances. His name was Marcus. "You?" Travis said in disbelief. "What are you doing here?" Marcus's eyes were sharp, filled with the kind of bitterness that only came from betrayal. "I'm here because you deserve to know the truth about your so-called mentor." The truth Lyanna was too scared to say outright. Travis clenched his fists. "If you've got something to say, say it." Marcus stepped closer, lowering his voice. "Deion's not who you think he is. He's been pulling strings behind the scenes, not just with you, but with your wife. Those calls? Those meetings? It wasn't about support. It was about control. He wanted leverage over you, and the easiest way to get it was through Lyanna." Travis's chest tightened. "You're lying. You've always had bad blood with Coach. Why should I believe you now?" Marcus smirked bitterly. "Because I've got proof." He pulled out his phone and scrolled through messages, handing it over to Travis. "These are screenshots of texts between Deion and me when I still worked for him. He told me to keep an eye on Lyanna to make sure she was on board with his vision. He said if she became a problem, your career could suffer." Travis's eyes scanned the messages, his hands trembling. The words felt like daggers. "She needs to know her place. Keep her quiet. We can't afford distractions. If she resists, we'll remind her what's at stake for Travis." His knees almost buckled. No, this can't be real." Marcus put a hand on his shoulder. "It's real, Travis. I left because I couldn't be part of it anymore, but you've been living in his shadow, thinking he's family, when all along, he's been controlling you like a puppet." Travis staggered back, his mind spinning. Every denial from Deion, every tear from Lyanna, every whisper of doubt crashed together in his head. It was too much. "Why are you telling me this now?" he asked. "Because the storm's already here," Marcus said. "The media knows more than you think. People inside the program are starting to talk. If you don't stand up now, you'll be dragged down with him." Travis didn't respond. He just stared at the ground, his world collapsing back at the Hunter home. Lyanna sat in silence, her face pale, her eyes swollen from crying. Deion paced the living room like a caged animal. "He went to meet him, didn't he?" Deion muttered. "He's with Marcus." Lyanna looked up, her voice hoarse. So it's true. You knew he'd find out. Deion's jaw tightened. Marcus has an axe to grind. He'll twist everything. I can't let this spiral, Lyanna stood, her body trembling but her voice steady. You already let it spiral. You thought you could play God with our lives, and now it's out of your control. Deion turned on her, his eyes blazing. You don't understand what's at stake. Everything I've built, everything I've given to these kids, it's bigger than you, bigger than Travis. I can't let one emotional outburst destroy it. Lyanna's voice cracked. It's not just an outburst. It's my life. My marriage. And you've been tearing it apart piece by piece. The front door suddenly burst open. Travis stood there, his face ghostly, the phone still in his hand. He looked at his wife, then at Deion, his voice shaking with fury. I saw the messages. I saw what you said about her. About us. Deion froze. Travis, listen. Don't. Travis snapped, his voice breaking. Don't you dare call me son ever again. You treated my wife like a bargaining chip. You manipulated me all while pretending to care. You're not family. You're a fraud. Lyanna rushed to her husband's side, tears streaming as she whispered, I tried to tell you. Deion's composure cracked for the first time. His shoulders slumped, his eyes heavy with something between regret and defiance. I did what I thought was best. Maybe I pushed too far, but everything I did was for you, Travis. To make you great. To protect this team. Protect? Travis shouted. You destroyed us. You think greatness is worth breaking families? Worth making her feel trapped? His voice echoed through the room, raw and filled with pain. Deion took a step forward, his voice rising. You don't understand the pressure, the expectations. If you don't control the story, it controls you. I was trying to protect you from that by controlling my wife? Travis roared. By threatening her? By treating her like she didn't matter? The silence that followed was crushing. Lyanna sobbed into her husband's chest, while Deion stood frozen, the image of a fallen hero dot outside. Reporters shouted, their cameras capturing every shadow through the windows. Fans online dissected every leaked clip, every rumor, every word. The empire of Deion Sanders was crumbling in real time. Finally, Travis spoke, his voice low but firm. I'm done, coach. Whatever we had, whatever bond we shared, it's over. I'll play this game for myself, for my family, but not for you. Never again. Deion's eyes glistened, but he didn't argue. He simply turned and walked out the door. His figure swallowed by the flashing lights outside. Inside, Travis held Lyanna tightly, whispering, We'll get through this. Together. But even as he said it, doubts lingered. Could they really rebuild after such betrayal? Could his career survive the scandal? Could Deion's empire ever recover? And as the cameras rolled, fans across the world were left asking the same question. Was this the end of Coach Prime, or just the beginning of an even bigger storm? And so, what started as a celebration on the field spiraled into one of the most explosive scandals the sports world has ever seen. A family torn apart, a marriage tested, and a legendary coach brought to his knees by secrets and accusations that refused to fade away. Fans are still reeling, torn between their admiration for Deion Sanders and their sympathy for Travis and Lyanna Hunter. The footage of Lyanna's breakdown, Travis's confrontation, and Deion's walkout continues to dominate headlines, sparking endless debates online. Was Deion really trying to protect his player, or was he pulling strings from behind the scenes? Was Lyanna's breakdown a cry for truth, or was it a moment of vulnerability that spiraled out of control? And most importantly, can Travis and Lyanna rebuild their bond now that the truth is out in the open? One thing is certain, the storm is far from over. Insiders claim more revelations could be on the horizon, and if those come to light, the drama will only grow deeper. The empire Deion built may never be the same, and the question on everyone's mind is simple: what happens next? But now we want to hear from you. Whose side are you on in this shocking saga? Do you believe Lyanna's emotional breakdown was the moment the truth finally surfaced? Or do you think Deion Sanders is being unfairly dragged into the fire? Should Travis stand by his coach, or is his loyalty only to his wife? Your voice matters in this conversation, and we want to know your thoughts. So, if you've been glued to this story like the rest of us, make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel for more jaw-dropping updates. And drop your opinions in the comments below. Trust me, this is one drama you won't want to miss, because the next twist could change everything.